Hey everybody, Mike here. Mike and Angel Diamonds team 3 and 3. All right, story for you. I've said this before. I've told the story I think in another video, but I want to say it again. There's a lot of new folks on the team may have not have heard this story before. All right, so how many no's do you take until you give up? How many no's do you get or do you take until you just say forget it and give up? Colonel Sanders, good old Kentucky Fried Chicken. Colonel Sanders was 65 years old when he got his first Social Security check. Now, by the way, there was no Kentucky Fried Chicken when Colonel Sanders was 65 years old. So at 65, he gets his first Social Security check. It was for $99. Now, Colonel Sanders sat there and looked at that check and he thought, this ain't gonna work, 99 bucks. That's not a retirement. So he had to think about what his resources were, what he had, what he could actually do. And what he had was a chicken recipe. And he felt like it was the best chicken recipe on the planet. I mean, his friends, family, everybody loved it. Whenever he would cook chicken for the family, they just raved about his chicken recipe. So Colonel Sanders came up with this idea. And what he decided to do was take his chicken recipe and go around to restaurants. And at the time, there was no such thing really as fast food. There was, I think, some White Castles up north that were just started. But for the most part, there was really no such thing as fast food. So he starts going around to diners and restaurants. He'd walk in the door and he'd say, hey, Mr. Restaurant Owner, I've got the greatest chicken recipe on the planet. The greatest. There is no better fried chicken than mine. And I don't even want any money for it. I'm just going to give it to you. And all I want is a small, tiny piece of the profit of every piece of chicken that you ever sell for the rest of your life. And what do you think restaurant owner said? Oh my God, I've been waiting for a crazy looking fat guy like you in a white suit and a white beard to walk in here and give me his chicken recipe so I can sell chicken and pay you money for it. He said, I think you're crazy. Your brain is fried. Because the fact of the matter is, I've got my own chicken recipe. I don't need your chicken recipe. So Colonel Sanders had to walk out the door and then go try it again. So the question is, how many no's did Colonel Sanders get before he got his first yes? How many restaurant owners told him no before he got his first yes? And the answer is 1,009 no's. Now, how many of you go out and blitz 5 people and all 5 of them say no? And you're like, screw it, it doesn't work. It works, just does not work. This is not going to happen. Nobody says yes to me. But the fact of the matter is, most of you aren't really going out and talking to enough people. I've said this in probably almost every video I think I've ever made. You're not talking to enough people. Folks, law of averages. This isn't a business of talent, believe it or not. There are some talented people. There are some people out there that everything they touch turns to gold. God bless them. But that's not the norm. It's definitely not the norm. All right? You got to get out. You got to talk to more people. Colonel Sanders, you know, after 500 no's, he's probably questioning his recipe. Like, man, maybe I need to change my recipe. But the fact of the matter was, that wasn't it. He had to start getting the yeses. And then, of course, the rest was history. Folks, he started at 65 years of age with a $99 Social Security check. He didn't have a lot of capital. He didn't have any capital. He didn't have a big loan. He didn't have a lot of money. All he had was a chicken recipe and something that Tony Robbins calls personal power. And personal power is just a fancy term that Tony Robbins came up with, which I love Tony Robbins and I highly recommend you listen to Tony Robbins. Personal power is nothing more than the ability to take action. The ability to take action. So some of you right now that are watching this video, you've been sitting around for days or weeks or months. Maybe you've been in FruitWorks for 3 months and last month really wasn't that good and this month isn't going that well either. Folks, it's because you're not doing the activity. You simply got to take action. I don't know how to motivate someone. There's really no such thing as motivating people. You can only influence them to where they become motivated to take action. Your upline wants you to be very successful. You know, and is it because it helps your upline be successful? Well, of course. But folks, if you're making money, your upline's making money. If you're making money, more importantly, your downline is making money. All right? So have the right thinking about this business. It is a business, and it's not complicated. You simply have to get out and talk to more people. You haven't listened to Jim Rohn's, CD, or you can get it on YouTube. How to build your network marketing business. If you're not listening to Tony Robbins' Personal Power, Tony Robbins also has, you can go to, I think, Barnes & Noble and buy it, or go online, Amazon, and it's called Skills and Mastery. And it's 6 CDs. Some of the greatest stuff on the planet you can learn about how to live a better life, how to be a better producer with everything you do. So folks, how many no's is it going to take until you quit? The reason why people don't make it with It Works or any business, is because you give up after 5 no's. Who's going to give up today? I'm not giving up. We keep asking. I don't care how many people say no. And folks, people are going to say no for a long time sometimes. You know what that's called? Practice. Practice makes perfection. Get out, folks. Get on the street. Talk to your friends and family. Work your warm market. Work your cold market. Tell everybody you know. Because those that you're not telling about It Works are going to end up in my and Angie's downline. Think about that. Got it? Good. We'll see you guys at the top and on the beach. Boom.